Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another TBR video. Today we are going to talk about all the books that I would like to try and read in May. Emphasis on the word try, because as with all of my TBRs recently, this one is equally unhinged. I haven't even counted how many books I've put on this, but it's a lot. So yeah. But one thing about this TBR is featuring a lot of indie romances and like indie fantasy romances, and I feel like I read those kind of books really quickly. So that is one of the reasons why this TBR is so huge. Also, I've been kind of like trying recently to pepper my TBRs with like books I'm really interested in reading, aka the dark taboo romances, the fantasy romances, etc. And then the books that I'm like less excited about but, you know, still want to read. This month I haven't done that. This month I have just filled it with everything that I'm really excited to read, because I'm fed up of limiting myself, you know? And I think after this month, I'm actually not gonna do a monthly TBR for July, possibly also not for June or for August, because I'm gonna be traveling. So I'm gonna be reading a lot on my Kindle. And I think rather than doing like a monthly TBR, I'm just gonna do like a seasonal, like a summer TBR next month with all the books I would like to get read in the summer. And then there's like kind of no pressure to be taking them with me while I'm traveling, because I can't take that amount of books with me. So yeah, that's just a heads up. This is gonna be the last like a monthly specific TBR until probably like September time. That being said, we're just gonna get onto it, because we all know I have a tendency to ramble and I annoy myself when I do that. So yeah, we're just gonna get started. So the first book that I am wanting to try and read in the month of May is The Words by Ashley Jade. I think it's Ashley Jade. This is like a rock star bully romance from what I've gathered. So the male protagonist and the female lead have known each other since they were children, and I think he's always been an asshole to her, and then she ends up going on tour with his band, and this is like her way of getting him back, like her opportunity to make him pay. So yeah, like I'm excited to read this. I've heard a lot of good things about this. I'm not sure if it is just like a bully romance. I'm not sure if there are any other tropes involved at this point, but this gives me the same kind of vibes as Lilac did, which I read earlier on in the year, and I think you guys will remember that I really enjoyed Lilac. So I'm really looking forward to this one. It is a beast, but I honestly think it's going to be something that I'm going to sail through, and I'm so excited. I also really need to like find a word other than exciting to say about how I'm feeling about reading these books, because I watch my videos back and realize that with like every TBR, all I say is like, I'm excited to read this. I'm really excited. This is exciting. So I need to stop that. Just take a shot every time I say the word exciting, and you will be very drunk by the end of this video. Next up, this is the first book I've ever been sent by a publisher, which is exciting. This was sent to me by the amazing team over at Cherry Publishing, so thank you guys so much. So this book sounds super interesting. This follows Aurora, who works as a therapist by day and cares for her parents by night. And then one day, a very troubled young man called Mason walks into her office, and they begin a path to healing him. There's been like a traumatic event that stopped him from being able to get his dream job. But from healing him, they actually, I think, end up kind of like healing each other, which is so cute and wholesome. And I believe it's kind of like a bloodlines kind of relationship between patient and therapist. And yeah, it says at the bottom, soon it's not a matter of if they'll be together but when. So I'm thinking this is going to be quite a wholesome romance. I am really looking forward to getting stuck into reading it, and also I love the cover. It's so cute. Next up, we have 3 books in a series that's been getting so much hype recently, and I'm particularly looking forward to reading this one because this is my first buddy read. I'm buddy reading Zodiac Academy by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti, and I'm going to be buddy reading this with the lovely Tabitha. So I will leave her channel and all of her social medias linked in the down bar for you, so make sure you go and check them out, subscribe, follow, everything else. We're going to be buddy reading the first one together at the end of May, but I just already know that I'm going to love this series so much. So I also have in preparation bought the second one, which is called Ruthless Fae. And then also the third one, which is called The Reckoning. And I'm putting myself on an absolute like book buying ban for May. Like I can't buy a single book in the month of May. So it's quite good that I'm reading these at the end of the month, because then when June rolls around, I can basically buy the rest of the series, which I think is inevitably what will end up happening. So from what I understand about this book, and I don't understand much, there is the like heir to like a Fae kingdom who hasn't claimed her birthright. and all of a sudden to do it she has to basically go to the Zodiac Academy and prove that she is the most powerful of the Fae, I think, or the most powerful supernatural. I don't know a huge amount about it, but I've heard that it's brilliant and everyone loves it and says it's like super emotional and everything else. I really want to cry at the moment. I don't know why. Like, I can do it without reading. Like, I'm a Pisces, okay? I'm like the most Pisces you will ever meet. Like, I am an emotional little cookie, so I can cry very easily. But right now I want like a book to really like hook me. I want to really connect to the characters, and I want to be so invested that I'm feeling every single emotion. I want to cry. I want to be like traumatized. I want to be ripped apart and like ravaged by these books. Like, that is what I want. So I'm really hoping that this series is the series to do it for me, because like I say, I've heard so many people talk about how incredible this is, and I want a slice of that pie. I want that pie, right? I want to eat it up. Like, that's what I want. Okay, onto a couple of standalones now. Well, they're not actually standalones, but I just don't have the follow-up, so for all intents and purposes right now, they are standalones. We have Hooked by Emily McIntyre. This is a Peter Pan retelling, and I believe like all of the retellings in her Never After series, or whatever they're called, I think they all have like the villains as like the anti-hero kind of vibe. So this is not Peter Pan and Wendy, this is Captain Hook and Wendy, which I think is pretty cool. It doesn't give much away in the synopsis, but I've heard a lot of people saying this is very good, so I'm looking forward to it. I also am completely obsessed with this cover. I just think it's legitimately one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen for like a dark like fantasy romance. And then I also have Promises and Pomegranates, which is the first book in the Monsters and Muses series, and from what I understand this is a Hades and Persephone retelling. So both of these I'm very much looking forward to. I actually picked both of these up in America this time around in Barnes & Noble. I love the fact that I can get indie romances in Barnes & Noble. It makes me so happy. Like, honestly, Waterstones could never. Waterstones could never. On to the last of the indie books now. I actually bought an entire series because I have literally no chill at all when it comes to books. Like, I have an actual honest to God problem, and I can't stop buying them. And I saw one of these on Amazon and I was just like, oh, you know what, there's only 4 in the series, let's just get them all. Let's just get them all, read them all in one go. So that's what we're doing. This is the 4 Horsemen series by Laura Thalassa, who is the author of the Bargainer series, which I've read the first of the Bargainer series and I liked it, but I read it a long time ago and I can't really remember what it was about or why I liked it or anything else, but I know I liked it. So there we go. I bought this one in its entirety. So we have Pestilence, not my dude on the cover here, reminds me too much of my ex, but Pestilence, War, now he is a bit of me, okay, he is a bit of me. Looking forward to War. This is my absolute favourite cut, no wait it's not. Oh, is this my favourite cover? Okay, I thought, never mind. Okay, then we have Famine. And then we also have Death, who looks like he's doing some kind of like supernatural stuff. I don't really know. I'm not wanting, I don't know basically if these are all like companion novels or if the story's all interlinked. So I haven't actually read the synopsis on War, Famine or Death. So I'm going to give the synopsis for Pestilence because, like I said, I don't know if they're all interlinked or not, but basically Pestilence comes for the town of, it doesn't say, and basically he's going to kill all of the inhabitants. There is one girl who tries to shoot him, knock him off his horse and kill him before he can get to all the inhabitants of her town, only she doesn't realise that he can't be killed, so then he takes a prisoner. Very much think it's going to be a prisoner and captive type trope, and honestly I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be VVV good. It says, now Sarah may still be able to save the world, but in order to do so she'll have to sacrifice her heart in the process. Love that for her. Well, actually I don't love that for her, but I love that for me reading about it for her. One thing that annoys me about these covers though is they get like little marks all over them, and like honestly that's not even from me. Like that came like that, and then I'm just like, who has been manhandling my books before they've arrived? Like it's the same one here, do you see? Like someone's like gross handprint. I'm like, that's really not what I wanted, but it's fine. So next up I have Fury Born by Claire Legrand. You may have recognised this from other TBRs where I have completely failed to accurately sum up what happens in this book. Mostly because obviously I have not yet read the book. But also I hadn't really read the back of the book very well. So basically this is two prophecy queens. I'm not sure if it's going to take place over dual timelines. From the sound of the back, it might do, but I'm not sure. So you have one prophecy queen whose friend was being ambushed, and she accidentally then reveals herself as one of the prophecy queens and has to undergo a series of elemental magic trials to, I think, ascend her throne and come into her power. And then 1,000 years later, this original queen is but a legend, and there is a young girl who I think has to save her mother and ends up getting involved in this like a crazy ass war, and it I think turns out that she is the second prophesied queen. This is the first book in a trilogy, so obviously like their stories are going to interlink, and I'm assuming a lot of stuff's going to happen. I think this will be a lot of like world building and like story setting, but I am really excited to read this. I've been wanting to get to it for a long time, and I've been kind of waiting. I think with books that I'm really excited about, I quite often like don't let myself read them because it's like a reward for getting through all the books that I'm less excited about. But like I say, this month, like I don't care. I'm just reading exactly what I want to read because I'm excited to read them. Then we have The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichek. This was my Christmas present from my bestie. And I'm really looking forward to reading this one. This is like Norse mythology retelling, and it's Angrboda. Basically, she gets captured and burnt for being a witch because she is able to prophesize. She survives her burning, but she flees into the forest, injured and alone, and that is when she meets the trickster god Loki, who kind of falls in love with her, and I think they end up having a family. But they get to a point where her prophecies are returning and she can't ignore them any longer, and it basically says here that she must choose whether she'll accept the fate that she's foreseen for her beloved family or rise to remake it. So that will be really fun, I think. I haven't really read a lot of Norse stuff, but I'm like in a real fantasy mood again at the moment. I kind of like fluctuate between whether I want to read fantasy or romance more. And right now I'm like literally a 50-50 split. I'm kind of wanting to like delve into some really like intricate adult fantasies. And I think once I've cleared off a lot of my TBR, that is what I'm going to start buying again alongside my romances. But I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. We'll see how I feel when the TBR is cleared. Anyway, then we have A Low Country Bride by Priscilla Williams. This one I'm less excited about, but I want to kind of get it off my TBR. I don't think I'll end up keeping this book. I've decided I need to start unhauling books if I'm not going to read them again. So anything that's got either a 3-star or below, or anything I know I'm never going to want to reread, is just being unhauled because I don't have the space to keep like buying books and keeping them all basically. The reason I think this one's going to be unhauled is simply because I bought it when I was in the States and then read the first page after I bought it and realised I don't like the writing. Granted, it was only the first page, so it might change like later in the book, but I don't have particularly high hopes. But this book follows Maya, who is living in New York, and she is a wedding dress designer. But I think her dad falls ill, so she has to return to her hometown of Charleston, South Carolina, and she ends up working in a wedding dress store there. And I think she starts like butting heads with the owner, who is a single, I think he's like yeah, he's a single guy. He is a military vet and a widowed father. And basically I think they butt heads, and I think it's like an enemies to lovers kind of romance between the two of them. There's elements of this that I'm looking forward to, like the setting in Charleston, for example, and also the fact that he is a military vet, because one of my best friends married a military vet and they got engaged in Charleston, which is really cool. But I think the rest of it is just, yeah, I don't know, I'm not excited about this one. I'm hoping it changes my mind. I really do, because I want to love it, but I'm just like nervous from reading the first page. And then we have Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I really want to read this in May before the new series comes out, so that I can hopefully binge it and love it as much as I did with Normal People. This one, I don't know how I'm feeling about it. Like, I'm not really in a Sally Rooney mood, but I'm going to read it because, like I said, I want to read it before the series comes out. And I think this one is like a coming of age story about like a friendship group of 4 friends, and they're kind of like interweaving and interlinked relationships and the kind of nuances and complications that come with just being friends with people in your 20s. And I think 2 of them maybe fall in love, but I'm not 100% certain from the synopsis. I mean, Sally Rooney is a genius and her writing is beautiful, so I'm hoping this holds the same kind of like a thrill for me. Oh my god, what is happening here? I'm sorry. So I'm hoping this kind of like brings the same kind of feelings and vibes as Normal People did for me, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm nervous about reading this one. I do have Beautiful World, Where Are You on my pile of books to read as well, but I can't right now. I don't know why, I just can't read that book right now. So then we have Consent by Annabelle Lyon. So this book follows two groups of sisters. So you have Saskia and Jenny, and Saskia ends up putting her life on hold for Jenny, who I think has like a really terrible accident. And then you also have Sarah and Matty. Matty is needing full-time care, and after their mum dies, Sarah has to move in and look after Matty. So you have that kind of like power imbalance between both of the sister like groups and the relationships. And it says on the back that both groups of sisters get united through shared trauma of an incident with a man. And I think, judging from the title of Consent, we can probably make an educated guess at the type of incident that goes down. And it becomes kind of like a revenge story and a justice seeking. I'm looking forward to this. I'm nervous to read it because I think it may be a little triggering in places, but yeah, I think it could be quite powerful as well. I got this on one of the like buy one get one half price tables in Waterstones, and I haven't heard people talking about it, so I don't really know, but I'm looking forward to it. And then finally we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, which again has been on my TBRs so many times over the past few months, but I just keep not getting to it. But this follows Jack, Prince of Hearts, yeah. From the Caraval series, and a girl called Evangeline, and I believe that she has to make a bargain with him to get like a wish to come true, and the payment is 3 kisses, and he can basically demand them wherever and whenever he likes, but also with whoever he likes. So she doesn't have to kiss him, she may have to like kiss other people. And I'm guessing there's just a lot of mischievousness and hijinks, and I believe it's set in the same world as Caraval. I adored Caraval with my whole heart. Like, that book series was one of my favorites ever. Like, I loved it so much. So I'm hoping this has the same kind of like magical, whimsical vibes as that did. I have heard people say that this is supposed to be a standalone or like a separate entity from the Caraval series. However, it does have mild Caraval spoilers within it, so if you do not want to know what happens in Caraval, if you haven't yet read it and you want to, I would steer clear of this book until you have read that trilogy. So guys, that is the end of my ambitious May TBR. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, as always, please ignore my terrible hair. Please give me a thumbs up and drop me a comment if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you're reading in May, and also don't forget to subscribe if you are new, and I'll be back with another video very soon. Bye.